Take a few minutes to look over this video. It could easily save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. These are some quick troubleshooting tips for your air conditioner when it goes out. The most common reasons an air conditioner stops working is float switch, capacitor, fan motor, or low freon. When I'm troubleshooting my AC, the first place I like to check is the float switch. Especially since I'm in Florida, condensation is very heavy here, so a lot of times these drains will get backed up and the water will back up into the AC unit. And the float switch is a safety so that you're not flooding wherever the indoor unit is. You should be pouring vinegar down monthly or semi-monthly or every now and then. Some people will do bleach. I prefer not pouring bleach down these drains just in case. It's a heavier chemical, as well as if you happen to have some metal down there, like a screw fell in somehow or whatever, you'll have heavy corrosion. So I always go the route of vinegar. You have to use more vinegar, but I'd rather be easier on my pipes and pour more often than go heavy with the chemical. Anyways, here's the float switch right here. It's going to be this little PVC looking cup. Basically, the theory is if the water's backing up, the water will come into this cup, and the float switch is right here. And basically the way it works is this guy is a little floater, and it connects the electrical components when it's down. So when the water comes in, it'll start floating and it will disconnect that electrical current right there, therefore turning off your AC. So that's the first place to check. If that is the reason your AC is off, you should, you need to clean out this pipe. The best quick fix for cleaning the drain is coming out with a shop vac to the outside drain, and you just close it on here, try to close that seal tight, and just suck out all that gunk. Once you get all the gunk out, you're gonna wanna fill the drain with a water and vinegar mixture, just so you're kind of killing all that bacteria and stuff that created the sludge in the first place. So my next troubleshoot I really like is checking the capacitor. It works almost like magic. If you go inside, the thermostat is set to cool and it should be running. You come out, maybe you hear the fan motor buzzing or making some sort of low hum sound, but the fan is not going. That means the Freon is moving through the system, but this fan is not cooling the outer Freon. The airflow should be coming in the sides and out the top. So you wanna look at the fan blades, see which way they're angled, which way the air should be moving, and you wanna nudge the fan blade in that direction. If the capacitor is the issue, this will actually kick on, the fan will continue running like normal, the house will cool off back to temperature, and then the next time the AC wants to kick on, that fan will not kick on because the capacitor is bad. So this is what an AC capacitor typically looks like. A lot of times they're cylinders and they range from size. These are pretty close to the same size. Some a lot smaller, some bigger. Some actually have oval shapes, some have only 2 prongs, some 3. So there's a lot of different variations for AC capacitors. So you gotta make sure you know which one to order. The main tip is don't touch the prongs. It's like a battery, like a 9-volt battery. You know, the ones you put on your tongue, they give you a little tingle. These are like that times 1,000. These will hurt you if they are charged. That fan motor needs a boost of electricity to get started, and that's exactly what the capacitor does. As far as replacing the capacitor goes, it's pretty simple, but I do not want to give you instructions on how to do it because I'm not a licensed electrician, and I don't want to be on the hook for actually showing you how it's done and maybe do something wrong, forget a detail. A DIY instruction I feel okay giving you is taking out these fuses before doing anything on the AC. The outdoor unit you'll typically find on a wall. The indoor unit you'll typically find that fuse on the top of the actual unit. But in my opinion, it is very simple and it is a good DIY. Go ahead and look for instructions on how to do it online. There are loads of AC companies that show you how to do it. $20 or have someone else come out and it's $250, $300. DIY makes sense. Now, if you spin it and it should be kicked on, but it never kicks on, that's most likely meaning that your fan motor is blown or some sort of other issue. If you're not an advanced DIYer, I would just skip this step altogether and just call a professional. Another troubleshooting technique you should do is check the differential of your air. So you're gonna take a laser thermometer over by the return and then read that, and then you read a vent. And what you wanna see is an air temperature differential of about 14 to 22 degrees. Some people like 18 to 25. You just wanna see a sizable differential. Now, if your differential is 14 degrees or lower, you're probably having some efficiency issues with your AC. Some of those could be dirty coils, which I don't recommend residentials doing that, because if you pierce some of the copper or something, you'll have a much bigger issue. The other most common issue is the Freon is low, or you have some sort of leak or something's going on. In that case, unfortunately, you do have to call an AC company because you have to be EPA licensed to handle Freon. Probably a good thing anyways, because if you administer Freon incorrectly into your AC unit, you can massively damage the unit and you'll have to replace it. So better to have a professional do the Freon, even if it wasn't supposed to be licensed. If you don't know the rating of your Freon, it's very important to know that. The best way to see what Freon rating you have is there should be a label outside your outdoor unit. Smart to take a photo of this, especially because they'll fade over the years, but it will tell you the rating of your Freon. 410A is the most common residential AC Freon now and is widely used. So if your AC unit is 410A, you're in good shape. Now, back in the day, the most common rating for Freon was R22, which has actually been outlawed for importation and creation in the United States since 2020. It is still available. There are still specialized sellers that have R22, so if your AC repairman is telling you it's not available, they're giving you a half truth. It is available, it's just very expensive and time consuming. They might wait a little bit to get it in, but it is available. If your AC unit is R22 Freon, you're probably close to needing a replacement anyways. A pro tip for if you do have to replace the AC unit is try to push it off to winter time. The reason I say wintertime is summertime AC companies are blasted with all these people with AC replacements, recharging Freon, capacitors. They're just massively busy because Florida heat waves will destroy ACs left and right. So best to push it to wintertime when AC companies are less busy and they'll give you better bids. You can shop around a little better. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something that saves you money in the future. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, leave a comment. And for all your real estate needs, go to withgivenintegrity.com.